Good morning, family, and welcome to Morning Heart Devotion with Dr. Chungshik Yong, brought to you by our Heavenly Parent Holy Community. Let us begin by greeting our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Chonjin Chambu모님께 경배. Paro. Now I'd like to ask Reverend Milhan Stevens to lead us in the family pledge.
가정맹세 1. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조의 상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과皇族권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조의 상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 장부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 처녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 처녀극 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 천상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
And to open us up in prayer this morning, I'd like to invite Lauren Spare to please unmute and pray for us.
Please join me in prayer. Good morning, dearest, most beloved Heavenly Parent. Thank you for this opportunity to offer a prayer on behalf of our entire morning devotion community. Heavenly Parent, I pray at this time, Father, for the successful and victorious completion of all your providential efforts, Father. Heavenly Parent, I believe there's not one person who's old enough to understand that's part of our community who wouldn't prefer to die, Father, rather than see your providence prolonged yet again. We want so much to see the victorious completion of your providence at this time, Father. Please work so powerfully through True Mother. Father, she's about to enter into the final 4 years of her second 7-year course. I pray that, Father, she can complete all of her providential goals well before the end of her second 7-year course, Father. I pray you can work so powerfully, Father, through True Mother to raise up Shin Chil Moon and Shin Hung Moon and their families, that they can be fully matured, fully prepared with hearts of Hyojung to stand in and represent true parents whenever asked, Father, so that there can be seamless continuity to your leadership on this earth, to your providence, Father. I pray you can work so powerfully through True Father in the spiritual world. Please invest your mantle, your authority, your love and to Hyojin, Hungjin, Damon, and Jesus as true parents representatives in the spiritual world. I pray that they can be absolutely united with you and with True Father and with each other, and on that foundation, please work so powerfully through True Father to raise up every man, woman, and child, and every angel in the spiritual world, and all the people who enter the spirit world each day, and all the spirits who are liberated back into the spirit world each day, and sever each and every one of them from evil once and for all, and raise all of them up to unite with you, to receive the principle, receive true parents, become absolute good spirits, and raise up all the spirit people further to receive the blessing and mobilize all of them, spirit men and angels alike, as absolute good spirits, to work so powerfully on the earth plane now at this time, to watch over and protect and bless true parents, true family, our blessed central family members, all the people of the world, to guide each of us to separate from Satan, come back to you, establish right relationship with you, right relationship with true parents, right relationship with each other, right relationship within myself, to guide each of us in our matchings and in our blessings. Help us each to establish beautiful families where you can dwell, and that can inherit true parents' life and love and lineage, inherit the principle, inherit true parents' tradition, language, and culture, and pass those blessings onto our own children, lineage, extended family, society, nation, world, and cosmos, to guide each of us in our educations and in our careers, and help us each to establish, Father, to fulfill our potential and our creativity, and to fulfill our providential responsibilities, Father. Help us each, Father, to break through financially so that we can accomplish more to fulfill for you, Father. And please guide each of us to be victorious over death, victorious in our ascensions and sumos, and to return all joy and glory and honor back to you. And I pray for this nation of America. Please help America to stand up as your elder son nation. Father, help us to wake up and clearly see, Father, ourselves, take the scales off of our eyes so we can understand, Father, the extent to which we've been dominated, and help us to come back to you, Father, as stewards of your blessings, to save all of our brothers and sisters around the world now at this time. And I pray also, please work through those spirit people and angels to help, Father, for the funding and the development of the Bering Strait Tunnel and all the other providential projects which true parents have sought to launch, and those that we're seeking to launch on behalf of true parents, Heavenly Parent. And as they help us, Father, I pray that each and every one of those angels can be resurrected and raised up to their fullest potential, and each and every one of those spirit people can be resurrected and raised up to become divine spirits. Please let this be the time, Father, that we can accomplish and fulfill all of your goals and substantially launch your kingdom on the earth. Now at this time, I pray these things in deep gratitude in the names of Lawrence and Mirabel and all of our blessed couples here. Aju.
아주 로렌스 땡큐 감사합니다. 수고하셨습니다. 땡큐.
Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer, Uncle Lawrence. So now let's go into our breakout rooms and share our appreciation points with one another, and we'll be back soon. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed your breakout session this morning. I had some wonderful people in mind. So first up, I would like to invite Rhea Tawata to please unmute and share with us.
Hello. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Kawata from Japan. Thank you.
Yes, Alpha Yong.
Hey, how are you? So your
Yes,
children are okay? Your children are
we have
okay?
a very, very wonderful Christmas day
Yeah.
yesterday. I think we had a magical Christmas and the best present that we can ever have for Christmas Day. Because besides the Christmas, because besides the Christmas party, after the Christmas party was so happy, the children enjoyed, we enjoyed. It's so good to receive presents and give presents. So everybody I joined the Filipino Japanese community Christmas party, and I know Dr. Yong, you know how the Filipino Christmas party is so,
Yeah.
so warm, and I miss it, especially I'm here in Japan. And after that, what happened was I really didn't know what happened, but when we went home, my husband told me that during the party, while we were eating our Christmas meal, a grandmother from outside, a complete stranger, a total stranger, followed us in the venue. Like we entered the building, it was in the first floor, and then we went to the fourth floor, and then we started joining the Christmas party. And then there was a grandmother who followed us up to the first floor and called my husband, and she told my husband that, your family, I saw your family from a distance, and I feel so happy looking at your family, she told my husband. And she said that when I see you, your wife, and your children, I just feel this so much happiness. And she was crying while
Really?
she was saying this, and she said she's a grandma, but she's single. And then she gave my husband like almost like $100, and she said, please buy a cake for today.
Oh my, oh my.
And then my husband asked her, what's your name? How can I contact you? She doesn't want to say anything.
Wow.
And then
I
she
see.
said, like, can I get your address? And I want to meet you again, she said.
Oh, beautiful.
And then,
wow.
it's just so touching that, somebody, even if you didn't talk, just a family, a stranger whom you never met, will feel like this just by looking at you, just by looking at our children. It's so, I cannot explain the happiness. And somehow yesterday I told my husband, like, we can't argue with each other anymore because grandma will feel sad. Something like this.
I think her ancestors recognize you already. They are. I think really her ancestor is very bright and very good. That's why recognize your children and yourself. Wow! Thank you so much for your beautiful sharing. 감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rhea. It was wonderful having you in my breakout room this morning. And next up, I'd like to invite Matthew to please unmute and share with us his appreciation points.
Okay, that's me.
Yeah,
Yes.
Matthew. Yes.
Okay, well, my first appreciation point. So, Rebecca, just hello everyone. This is my first morning devotion. So I just need a little coaching here, Rebecca. So that was a rehearsal I did with you earlier.
Yes, so if you just repeat what your appreciation point was in our breakout room and share it with everyone here.
Do you want me to elaborate a little bit, or?
It's okay. Just say what you feel. The 3 appreciation points that you said earlier were very beautiful, and what you said in the breakout room was very beautiful, and I thought people would enjoy it.
Okay, well, over the past couple years, I've been reintroduced to True Father and True Parents, and I'm very appreciative of that reintroduction and that reintegration with heavenly culture in my life. And I'm that is kind of brought into fruition a new season for my life spiritually. And the transition of the season physically is mirroring a spiritual transition in my life that's occurring as we speak, and I'm very appreciative of that. And walking into my calling that God has on my life. And this is something that I have a great appreciation for, and it's bringing great edification to my being, and opening up my joy.
Yeah.
And
you.
I have a great appreciation for this, and a great appreciation for new friends and meeting Rebecca last night, and an appreciation that extends to all of you to be here with you this morning, and to be to you, Dr. Yong.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Matthew. Your face looks like a Jesus face. Wow. Thank you, Matthew. 감사합니다. Thank you.
감사합니다. Thank you very much.
네.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for sharing with us this morning. It was lovely having you in my breakout room. So now let's open up our hearts and open up our minds and welcome Dr. Chong-Shik Yong for Morning Heart Devotion. Dr. Yong?
네. 안녕하세요. Good morning, good morning, my dear brothers and sisters, clergy and members of peace. 안녕하십니까? Did you spend Christmas with your family yesterday? What we need to know is that Christmas is not centered on my family, but on Jesus. The reason why Jesus is so precious is because ever since the fall of Adam and Eve, Jesus has become the first ancestor of mankind and is the origin of God's true love, true life, and true lineage. Is Jesus really the King and the Lord in your life and in your family? Now all Christmas events have become a means of business or a holiday that families just enjoy. Now we must come to the original look of Jesus. Above all, we believe that we must inherit the tradition of love in which Jesus loved and sacrificed God and mankind more than anyone else. In particular, the level of true love that Jesus loved his enemies and the quality of that love led the 2,000 years history of the Christianity. The quality and level of one person's love has changed 2,000 years of history. We must become disciples and children who truly inherit the love of Jesus. As I spend Christmas, I think about how much my love and my sincerity can change the world around me, my family, United States, and the world. I really think, very often today about Jesus' life. The power of the true truth and true love is the fact that it changed the country and the world. My level of 정성, my level of heart, my quality of 정성, my quality of love, how much it can change my society, my nation, my missionary area about the United States. Why? Really, we need to resemble Jesus. Just one person's that kind of the level of 정성, that kind of the quality of 정성, change entire human history. Can you imagine that, after 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, how much give a big impact to the all mankind by our true parents' love and sacrifice? Today, I'd like to talk about the ideal home and world peace from True Mother's Anthology, Volume 2.
The ideal home and world peace. According to heavenly law, Parents were meant to be true parents as well as true teachers. The education that children need most is not the education of knowledge or techniques. The most important education for children is ethical and moral education. This education for life is essential and can be taught only by parents at home. Children learn, feel, and resemble their parents' most valuable examples of love and the basic order of life. Children need a model they can learn from and follow. Regardless of whether parents realize it or not, they are their children's most important teachers. Children imitate and learn from their parents' pattern. There is no teacher more important than parents who can show a child the correct direction in life. As the fruit of love between two parents, children wish for their parents to be the most loving, ideal husband and wife. Children feel happiness from this loving relationship. For children, a divorce between their parents is a living nightmare and impossible to comprehend. This is because children also partake of the love between their parents. To the children, the love between their parents was the origin and root of their being. They cannot imagine the foundation of their existence being ripped apart. If the parent-child relationship is a naturally indivisible relationship, should not the husband-wife relationship, which was the root and motive of the parent-child relationship, also be naturally everlasting? Immorality, sexual promiscuity, and divorce are grave mistakes that violate heavenly law. These phenomena are the result of the fall. Neither God nor an individual's original mind desires them.
Yes. According to heavenly law, the education that children need most is not education of knowledge or techniques. The most important education for children is ethical and moral education. When you go to spiritual world, Father said, any difficult content in education of knowledge or techniques can all be understood within a few hours or days. But education on heart and love can only be obtained through experience. Heart and love are impossible to learn without embodiment of the four great realms of heart here in the physical world. If you go to spiritual world without having experienced that in the physical world, you have to come down to earth and again and experience it. Regardless of the whether parents realize it or not, they are their children's most important teachers. Children imitate and learn from their parents' pattern. There is no teacher more important than parents who can show a child the correct direction in life. As the fruit of the love between father and mother, children wish for their parents to be most loving, ideal husband and wife. Children feel happiness from the loving relationship. This is because children also partake of the love between their parents. To the children, the love between their parents was the origin and root of their being. They cannot imagine the foundation of their existence being ripped apart. Immorality, sexual promiscuity, and divorce are grave mistakes that violate heavenly law. These phenomena are the result of the fall. Neither God nor individual origin mind and desires them. I think very important thing, that's why heart and love, really, only you can learn and you can experience while you are on the earth. Once you go to spiritual world, no way to have experience. Living divine principle, let's study EDP. Today, the power of love, the power of the principle and God's commandment. Let's study.
the power of love, the power of the principle, and God's commandment. The power of love and the power of the principle in the human fall. Human beings are created through the principle, and they are meant to live according to the way of the principle. Therefore, it cannot be that the force inherent in the principle would induce a person to deviate from the way of the principle and cause him to fall. This may be compared to a train which cannot run off track unless, aside from a breakdown in the track or locomotive, some outside force stronger than the train's forward momentum collides with it and pushes it in a different direction. Similarly, the force inherent in the principle guides human beings' growth in the proper direction. But if some stronger force from a different direction and with an unprincipled purpose collides with them, they will surely fall. The force stronger than the force of the principle is none other than the power of love. While human beings are in the state of immaturity, it is possible that the power of unprincipled love can induce them to fall. Without God's love, there is no way to establish the true four-position foundation, which is the purpose for which we were created. Hence, love is truly the source and wellspring of our life and happiness. Although God created human being based on the principle, he governs us through love. Accordingly, in order for love to fulfill its proper role, its power must be stronger than the power of the principle. If the power of love were weaker than the power of the principle, human beings would pursue the principle more than the love of God. For this reason, Jesus tried to raise his disciples with the truth, but it was his love that saved them.
Yeah. The power of love, the power of the principle of God's commandment. Let's summarize. Heavenly Honey, please.
Thus, once the human body is to live on the purpose of God's creation, satisfaction and peace can be established. Likewise, when the human mind is to live within God's words, that is, truth, freedom, and peace can arise. Therefore, the power of the principle is being generated consistently from the human mind. That is why the power of the principle itself that aims to live on God's words cannot induce a person to deviate from the way of the principle and cause him to fall. This may be compared to a train which cannot run off track unless there is a breakdown in the track or locomotive. Some outside force stronger than the train's forward momentum collides with it and pushes it in a different direction.
Yes. Bible, John chapter 8, verse 30 to 34. Then you will know the truth will set you free. Jesus replied, very truly I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. When human beings live according to God's original purpose of creation, we can enjoy true freedom and peace. But if we have unprincipled thoughts or life or commit sin, we experience uneasiness, conflicts, and agony, and estrangement, and become slaves to sin. However, the power of the principle itself that aims to live on the God's word cannot induce a person to deviate from the way of the principle and cause him to fall. This may be compared to a train which cannot run off track unless there is a breakdown in the track or locomotive. But even that train is bound to run off track when an outside force is stronger than the train's forward momentum. collides with it and then pushes it in a different direction. Therefore, when the power of the unprincipled love collides against you, you can overcome any outside force of love if you always give and receive God's love along with the power of the principle. It is difficult to overcome the strong power of the horizontal love that comes from outside with human power alone. So you cannot overcome the power of the horizontal love if you do not absolutely depend on God's love. Therefore, our life of faith has to value the relationship between God and me, parents and me, and Abel and me, like we value life. Since it is impossible for me to overcome through horizontal love, I must always overcome through vertical relationship. That's why these vertical relationships are our lifeline, my brothers and sisters. That's why without connecting God, without helping from the able, without spiritual world help, centering on my about the Jeong, it is impossible to overcome horizontal temptation, horizontal love. So without faith, it is impossible, my brothers and sisters. Adam and Eve, they are, not fallen guy, before the fall. How about now? We are the descendant of the, the fallen ancestors. So we are more difficult. That's why in order to overcome that kind of a temptation and horizontal love, without God, without clear alignment toward God, and then substantially without relate to the able, without studying God's word, without borrowing the power of the from the spiritual world, it is impossible to overcome. That's why very important your vertical alignment, invisibly centering on God, visibly centering on your able, and also your relationship with your father and mother. Very, very important. If you have that kind of clear vertical alignment, centering on filial piety, then you can overcome horizontal temptation, horizontal environment, any kind of the difficulties you can overcome. That's why vertical alignment is really lifeline, my brothers and sisters. Today's youth ministry are principled way of life centered on numbers. Let's study.
Eat with gratitude while creating the taste of food. Even when eating, people who live by the word should find taste and eat, whether they're eating stew or side dishes. When we eat, we cannot eat while saying, "Oh, it's time to eat," just because mealtime has come. While harmonizing rice and side dishes well, we must know how to put it in our mouths and create and bring out their tastes. Putting the given food into the mouth and producing the taste is each own responsibility. If there is no taste, I need to eat while putting the food in my mouth and chewing it many times while creating a taste. Even when eating food that is not tasty, I need to chew it many times and create a taste. So, whatever kind of food it is, when it enters my mouth, I need to eat with gratitude and create the taste. We see a lot of people praying before eating, but there aren't many people who are grateful while eating. In those times, rather than praying before meals, it is more precious to have gratitude while slowly eating, one bite at a time.
Yes. When we eat, do we eat because it's time, mealtime, or because we long for food? And rather than to follow our spiritual life conditionally or principally, we must do so with a longing because our original slaves, our original selves want to. While harmonizing rice and side dishes well, we must know how to put it in our mouths and create and bring out their tastes. putting the given food into the mouth and producing the taste, each owns a responsibility. If there is no taste, I need to eat joyfully while putting the food in my mouth and chewing it many times while creating a taste. Do not just only complain. Any food come to me, and I need to digest. I need to really appreciate any kind of the food. That's why that is my portion of responsibility. Appreciate it, even though it tastes not so good. But when you chew again and again, and then the food become more tasty, everything. That's why I really sometimes food is not so delicious. And the thing about the father's life in Hungnam prison, then my tasty comes out. Wow, can you imagine that? If I am in Hungnam prison, how the food tastes? Any food is so delicious. Just as our responsibility is to bring out the taste of the food and eat in our life of faith as well, no matter what kind of the environment we are in, we need to be grateful and joyful in any situation. We see a lot of people praying before eating, but there aren't many people who are grateful while eating. In those times, rather than praying before meals, it is more precious to have gratitude while slowly eating and one bite at a time. You know, I had a chance to, often have a chance to have a meal with Reverend Yohani, but sometimes really I feel very strange because he did not pray. And he just having a meal. And then one day I challenged and asked him, how come Reverend Yohani, why don't you pray before having a meal? And then he showed me a big smile. He said, I appreciate, when I having a meal, each spoon, each meal, each dishes, so grateful. Wow. I was so surprised, So I learned from him that, of course, before meal I need to pray, but when I having a meal, really each food, each side dishes, each all kind of the food, so tasty, and I really appreciate. And then since I came home, that I was so surprised. My third child son, my son, wow, his cooking is really amazing. He really tried to help mother and cook. Wow, his cook is really wonderful. Yeah, that's why I'm enjoying every meal, because he cooks so well. And then also that, in any situation, of course, I seldom eat about the rice and, kind of powder. But I came to home, and here is God's home. Whatever they have, any kind of meal, even meat or rice or kimchi, any kind of food, I need to digest. I really enjoy. Normally, I only have 2 meals a day. I don't have a dinner. But having a meal time is really a very good time to communicate each other, not just only eating. That's why I decided to have a meal together with my family, and then give and take and sharing this and that. Wow, I feel that food is love. Really, food is love. And the meal time is to have more artistic connection, internal connection each other. I'm really enjoying not just only eating time, because it is a really good time to give and take among our family members. Okay, next content.
True father's mindset when having a meal or going out. In the beginning, when father had meals, he ate while giving meaning to each bite, such as 1 spoonful for formation, 1 spoonful for growth, 1 spoonful for completion. We must also resemble that part of father and try to eat meals with a heart that says, The first spoonful of formation is for God. The second spoonful of growth is for true parents. The third spoonful of completion is for the world and humankind. Even when going out from the house, we must live stepping forward with the mindset that the first step of formation is a step for God. The second step of growth is a step for true parents. And the third step of completion is a step for completing my responsibility. When we start any task, if we do them while thinking about formation, growth, and completion like this, we must believe that God will protect the remaining time and guide us.
Yeah, really amazing, right? Life of faith must be always be lived with everything centered on God and His words and giving meaning to everything. When you eat with what kind of the heart and principled condition are you eating with? Do you eat with a heart that says the first spoonful of formation is for God, the second spoonful of growth is for true parents, and third spoonful of completion is for the world and humankind? Even when going out from the house, do you live stepping forward with the mindset that the first step of the formation is a step for God, and the second step of the growth is a step for true parents, and third step of completion is a step for completing my responsibility? Whether we need to have a principled lifestyle, even though there's a condition, okay, formation stage, growth stage, completion stage. At least I do 3 kind of the level condition, and then the rest of the steps, the rest of the process of my course become really a condition God can intervene me. Condition, not just only for condition. Why we set up in condition? And through the condition, I really artistically, internally connect to Heavenly Parents' heart and to the parents' heart. That a fallen man, easy to forget, and doing this kind of the principled condition. Okay, and next content.
A principled way of life centered on numbers. In the beginning, when true parents guided our life of faith, they highly emphasized a principled way of life and mathematical life centered on the principle. Even as Father drank a cup of water, he had a lot of gratitude and gave a lot of praise about water. In Champyong, people who attended true parents put Champyong water in bottles and took them all the way to Champandong and gave the water to true parents. True Father loved water in that way. He said that Seoul water and Champyong water are very different. We drink water without being able to distinguish whether it is regular house water or Champyong water. But Father was very sensitive about taste. He also said that we cannot pray thoughtlessly and repeat the same things. And even when eating, he said to have the spirit of fulfilling one's responsibilities and eat. He said that we must think that through this food, we should know about God's heart and true parents' heart. So we must reflect on how much we are really living while knowing God's heart. We should always think of the 3 stages of formation, growth, and completion, and put 3 spoonfuls of food into our mouth in that order, and eat slowly while creating taste. And as we do that, a heart of gratitude must spring up while tasting that.
Yeah, beautiful guidance. When we start anything, we need to live in a way of establishing principled conditions while thinking about formation and growth and completion like this. If you set principled condition like this, God will take over. But if not, it becomes a human-centered life and Satan takes over. when drinking water or praying or having our meals, we need to always think about God and set principled condition and do it with a truly grateful heart. Especially while you eat, you need to think, am I fulfilling my responsibilities and eating? And you have to eat while reflecting whether or not you are eating while knowing God's heart and true parents' heart. Setting principle conditions should become a good habit, and we have to keep going until that good habit comes from our heart. Do not stop with just a habitual life. My brothers and sisters, that's why we always need to set up the, principal condition. To set up the principal condition, become really habit, and finally reach it to our heart. And then when we reach our heart and become very natural, no need to condition anymore. Why we are set up the condition? Because I don't want to nothing dealing with the condition anymore. And then become very natural, become very artistic, always comes out from the heart. So in order to reach that level, need to start principal condition, at least formation stage, growth stage, completion stage, at least like a 3 step when you go out. When you're having a meal, at least 3 times you need to think about for first spoon for God, second spoon for true parents, and third spoon for the second of the old mankind. At least the 3 level of the condition, then the rest is become more, artistic, more grateful, connect to Heavenly Parents' heart and true parents' heart. This kind of even though small condition to teach our children, our young children, our youth group, very important. So today we learn how to apply divine principle, when we are having a meal, when we are doing some kind of a job, very important condition. Thank you very much. God bless you. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yong, for that wonderful talk today. So now we'll have a living testimony, a recorded one from Isabel Gonzalez from GPA.
Hello, my name is Isabel Gonzalez. I am a second year on GPA, and I'm going to give a testimony on my experience so far as a captain. Captaining so far has been a really amazing experience. I feel like I've been learning a lot. It's really challenging, but I find a lot of gratitude through it. I feel like captaining is really preparation for becoming like a parent. Like you're growing your heart to become this mini true parent. And I have this vision for myself, like even before GPA, where I want to create this God-centered family, essentially this blessed family, right? Being a good mother in the future, even as a good future spouse as well. Even simply like being a better older sister for my personal family back at home. And this is the same desire that God and true parents have for me. Like essentially like they desire for me to become this mini true parent as well. But for me to get there, it takes steps and it takes responsibility. And I feel like this is something that I've been learning a lot, or I feel like God has been showing me a lot throughout this winter competition so far. We're in winter competition and the spirit is very go, very fast paced, and so many struggles come out. I find myself struggling too, especially when my members struggle. Like I find myself getting stuck in my members' struggles. I get very stuck in what they're going through, and I kind of tend to waver instead of becoming this pillar of a team. And as able, like I stand as this representative of God and true parents on my team, but throughout this winter competition, especially more so in the beginning of this winter competition, I was losing sight of this responsibility as able. I would find myself getting frustrated with my members, becoming impatient when they're going through difficulties. Of course, I want the best for my members, and I want them to grow, but I would get so fixated on what they were lacking, or instead of uplifting them. And there's this one specific member in the beginning of the condition who was struggling a lot with her internal goal. It was this really high internal goal, and she was struggling a lot because she felt so incapable and she felt like she wasn't growing at all. And I tried to do my best to love her and uplift her, and the best way that I was trying to help her was just to push her and just to push. But it was with this good intention of wanting her to grow, but I wasn't being so considerate of her feelings or how she was receiving the guidance that I was giving her. And ultimately, I wasn't being a good Abel. I was, in a sense, arrogant, where I kind of had this feeling in the back of my mind, or thought in the back of my mind, thinking that if I just continue pushing for her, then eventually she'll just understand, or she'll somehow break through. Being arrogant in that sense, instead of humbling myself and seeking to understand her and give her the love that she needs. And it wasn't until this one morning where she got really frustrated and she left during the middle of this DP study that we're having. And it was only until that situation happened that I realized that I wasn't being a victorious Abel. At that moment, I didn't necessarily get frustrated with her, but actually I felt so repentful, realizing that, yeah, I wasn't loving her truly. I wasn't being a victorious Abel, right? And why I completely forgot about this responsibility as an Abel is because ultimately I lost sight. I completely forgot about this vision and this desire that I share with God and true parents of building this God-centered family, of creating this blessed family. I lost what I was fighting for and who I was fighting for. And throughout the condition, I've also been reading a lot about True Mother, testimonies on her. And what True Mother has went through, it has been so difficult. She had to persevere and endure through so much, but her earning this title of True Mother, it didn't just magically happen. She didn't just magically become True Mother, but throughout her whole life, constantly she was taking responsibility to, for her specifically, restore her position, or restore Eve, her position as Eve, right? Like True Mother didn't suddenly become True Mother, but she was always taking responsibility. And understanding this, I realized this is the same for myself. Like, I want this sister who is struggling to break through in her life of faith. I want to create this blessed family, but it isn't going to happen magically, right? I realized, like, I need to take responsibility. I can't just wait and expect things to just magically to work out or somehow to work out, but I have to take responsibility to restore this position of Abel, like really overcome this sense of arrogance and ignorance, and really humble myself and really love the sister well, but even really fight for this vision, this desire that I myself and true parents and God desire. And I feel like once that I realized that, I found myself just being so desperate to love this sister well, but even fighting not just for her sake or for my sake, but really for true parents' sake, for God's sake. We share the same desire of creating this blessed family, like me becoming this mini true parent, right? And if I want them to be victorious, like I myself have to be victorious too. Be victorious in this position of Abel. And I feel like that's something I've been realizing more and more each day, growing in so much more. And of course, I'm still learning a lot, and I'm still not the best Abel yet, but each day I have to recommit myself to really give it my 100%, to really overcome this arrogance or this ignorance and really be this true Abel that my members need. Like I am their only connection to God and true parents, and I need to be able to love them well. And if I'm able to break through in this right now, then I'll be able to grow to love my future family even better, and bring joy to God and true parents, and being able to be victorious in this aspect too. But yeah, that's how captaining has been so far, and right now I just want to continue investing and preparing myself as before we go to Korea and meet True Mother, really become the best offering that I can be, really stand before her and say that I did my best to be this victorious Abel. But yes, that's all I wanted to share. But yes, thank you.
Thank you, Gonzalez. Thank you. You are really growing up so much. Wow, such a beautiful testimony. Wonderful. 감사합니다. Thank you.
Yes, what a beautiful sharing, Isabel. Thank you so much for sharing with all of us. And I think it was a perfect tie-in into Dr. Yong's talk today, about recognizing the steps that we need to take with relationships and in our community and with ourselves, and that if we do everything by that three-step stage, the formation, the growth, and completion, with our relationships, with even just food, as Dr. Yong was saying, then we are putting God first, and that we are really appreciating everything with a true heart, with Jongsong and appreciation. So thank you so much, Dr. Yong, for that beautiful talk today. And thank you,
Rebecca.
Isabel, for your testimony. And now let's go into our breakouts and share our takeaways with one another, and we'll be back soon. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed your breakout session this morning. I had some wonderful people in mind. So first up, I would love to invite Jack and Kyoko-san to please unmute and share with us.
Okay, good morning. Kyoko-san?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Today my takeaway is like a physical world, this world, how to live is very important, affecting spiritual, life. So, need to educate the children more like artistic, way. So kind of each moment, whatever we do, eating or walking, or each moment we really put a heart, and that's today I take away.
I see.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyoko-san. Hey, Reverend Jack.
Hey,
Howard.
Dr. Yong. Good to see you this morning.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're missing you.
me too.
Yeah, so this morning, sometimes I'm not such a good student, but because Dr. Yong always says, find your keyword, but usually I don't do it. But today I wrote down, my first note was a keyword equals what, so so I found myself struggling to find my keyword today. But I think I wrote down my keyword was love is greater than the principle. And I think that's something we really, sometimes we try to relate with our children through truth or through principle, but we really need to relate with love is more important. And later on, it said, it's Jesus' love that saves. We sometimes say Jesus' blood is what saves, but it's really Jesus' love that the reason he shed his blood is because he loved us. And it's that love that really can save us. And then, if love is greater than the principle, even eating, we're not eating just so we can get certain molecules and protons into our body and nourishment or whatever, but it's really to absorb God's heart and love. So yesterday we had a meal with at my daughter's house, and we didn't have a American Christmas meal. We had a Oriental Christmas. We had nabe and rice, and but it was very good. And
I see.
and I find, especially at my age, when I'm eating meat, if I chew it many times, then my digestion is much better, and I don't get upset or sick. So anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Yong.
Okay, thank you so much, Jack and Kyoko. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much for sharing with all of us this morning. It was lovely having you in my breakout room. And next up, I would like to invite Megumi Lindstrom. Megumi-san?
Hi, good morning. Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Yong. Your word is God's love, truly changing my life little by little. I do DoorDash, and then I go step sometimes, and I said, father and mother like this. But now I learned today, so different way I can use it. And then also when we eat. Actually, this is totally different, but yesterday I was praying Heavenly Parents, Christmas Day. What do you feel about it? And I pray in the car, and then thought came, and then Mary and Elizabeth, if two ladies united, Jesus didn't have to go cross. And then two women, wow, that's women, jealous and those things have to really overcome in my daily life. I thought about it. That's totally different story today from today, but somehow I wanted to share somehow. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Megumi-san. Megumi ga aru nayo desu. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you so much, Megumi-san, for sharing with all of us today. And now for our friendly reminders. Number 1 is to invite someone from your Trinity, someone from your community, your family, or someone you just met. It's wonderful to see our morning devotion family grow every single day and join us. And number 2, our content summaries and links to images are available on edu.familyfed.org, courtesy of Dr. Kylie. And number 3 is joyfully give from your heart. Offer a prayer or a song and see how God may inspire you to give a little bit more of yourself to morning devotion or to your own community. If you feel so inclined to donate, there's a link in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, there's a link right at the bottom of the screen. And now for our musical offering, I'd like to invite up Dr. Gilda Price to please unmute and share with us.
Good morning.
Hey, Dr. Gilda!
Merry Christmas, Dr. Young.
Yay!
Blessings. I thank you so much. You are a giant. You are Santa Claus. You are. Oh, Dr. Young, you are the best. I thank God for you. I thank God for my family out there. Oh, what a blessing. And one thing I must say, I thank God for Christmas, for sending his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him should not perish. And it was love that sent him here, the love of God. And we celebrated that yesterday. We broke down so many barriers, so many families were disunited. They became united yesterday by whether stating what they felt from the heart or whatever, but understanding went through, love went through, joy went through, peace went through. And today we're experiencing the joy of yesterday. So I am going to ask you all who knows this little song. If you know it, you can join with me because I'm really going to be spelling it just like I get it. Okay? He came to give us joy. And the joy of the Lord is our strength. And for all that we have gone through over this past 2 years, we need to have some joy in our soul. So he came, gave us love, and now we are experiencing the joy of his love. For in his presence, there is a fullness of joy. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let heaven and earth rejoice. Let every heart prepare him room. Let heaven and earth ring. Let heaven and earth ring. Let heaven sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let us our songs employ, while fields and flood, rock hills and plain, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. Repeat, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sin and sorrow grow, nor thorns enlace the ground. Him make his blessings flow, for as the curse is found, for as the curse is found, for as the curse is found. He rules the world with truth and grace, and make the nation prove the goodness of the righteousness, and from the love, and from the love, and wonders of his love. Joy!
Wow. Dr. Gilda, thank you. Beautiful song.
Joy!
You give us a lot of joy and happiness, Dr. Gilda. I also appreciate your age, 80 plus age. You are joining morning devotion every day. It is really incredible. Thank you so much, Dr. Gilda.
I bless you, Dr. Young. I thank you. God bless
Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gilda, for that wonderful song. You always have such a bright spirit, so thank you for bringing that for us on Morning Devotion. And now to close us off in prayer, I'd like to invite up Sunmi Myongo to please unmute and pray for us.
All right. Hello. Okay. Hi. Please join me in prayer. Yes. Good morning, our beloved Heavenly Parent, true parents, Jesus, good spirit world, and ancestors. Hi, God. Thank you so much for this lovely morning, this time that we got to spend here in morning devotion, God. Thank you so much for this guidance that you are able to give us every day through Dr. Yong. So grateful for his just constant investment into us, not only his family, but his community and really this whole world, God. Thank you so much for everything that you're able to give to us through all of his teachings and his guidance, but really it's your guidance, God. And I really pray that as we go about our day, that we can really take these words to heart, that they can really guide us, and that they can allow us to invite you into every aspect of our lives, God, in our relationships and our family, even when we're eating food. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity that we can spend with one another and with you, God. And I just want to invite you into all of our days today, that we can be able to love you and love people. Thank you so much. And I just want to take this time and offer this prayer up to you with all humility and with all gratitude. In all of your names here and in my name, Sunmi Lisa Dihan Myongo, Charles Rose Myongo, blessed your family, Aju.
Aju, Sunmi, thank you so much. I miss you. we enjoyed the meal together, picnic together. Thank you so much, Sunmi. I hope you have a good time with your family. Okay? Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer, Sunmi. And thank you to everyone who shared and prayed for us. I hope to see you all back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Okay.